Arsenal fans out there, I bet you're having a wonderful, wonderful Monday because now it's been a very good week for everyone included. Shout out to Manchester United fans. It's so sad that I'm actually starting the podcast by mentioning Manchester United, but it's a big club and they aren't in really good terms, or rather they aren't really performing well at the moment. But you can have to understand that if you're performing poorly in the league, you're going to be bantered. So yes, Manchester United lost, Chelsea lost, Liverpool lost, Spurs drew. It's been a good weekend, and they were expecting majority of the hate watchers, because nowadays people invest so much time in hate watching. Well, to be honest, I rarely watch all EPL games. I watch other leagues. You can find me watching some La Liga. Actually, I want to find a way to be reviewing those games. I want to find La Liga, some Bundesliga, some other funny leagues, just to keep myself busy, especially over the weekend. But this weekend has been really good for hate watching because all the teams that were expected to win did not win, including also Real Madrid, because they actually lost 5-2 against Atletico Madrid. And finally, Arsenal won against Newcastle after 4 games of not even scoring a single goal, to going and scoring 2 headers. That game was full of headers. Walter Made, the player that I actually like, Walter Made, is a very, very good striker, very tall. Didn't even have to jump that high to actually get to score his second goal for Newcastle. But yeah, eventually we did some subs. Mikel Merino. By the way, funny enough, Merino played almost half a season in front at Arsenal while we were having an injury crisis with Havertz, with Saka and everyone else. Performed really well. He's also scored against Real Madrid. He came up with some big goals against Liverpool also. I mean, he did everything that he was supposed to do. And now, funny enough, also, it's like the second game running or the third game running where substitutes who are coming from the bench to come and save us from losing. And that is a good thing. I wish it happened in the Liverpool game at Anfield, but that is water under the bridge now, because we are 2 points off them, and the title race is looking very good. And the next 7 games that we're actually going to have, it doesn't look like really hard games, because now we are done with most of the big 6 teams and the horrified grounds. We're done with Anfield, we're done with St. James Park, we're done with Old Trafford, we've faced Man City as much as we did it win. I mean, that's a good decent run, 13 out of 18 points, dropping 5 points to Liverpool and Man City. That's decent, I can guess. And as you saw, in this league, there is no easy games. There are no games where you can just wake up and say, I will win this game, I will lose this game. No. The games are really, really unpredictable, because teams are harder to break down, and teams are scoring, willingly. They're not even trying that hard to do their thing. But regardless of that, it was a good watch. I was with a friend to watch the game. He is a Man City fan. He's called Aizo. And he was like, leo mtapigwa, like you're going to lose this game and all that, coming to hate watch. I'm like, bruh, you won your game 5-1. Haaland doing a madness as usual. Actually scored 2 goals. Currently has now 8 goals. Like, it's so boring. I wish he had a boring striker like Haaland, who scores just because he can score, not big. Yes, he won. So he was watching, and when the first goal, we were attacking, Eze was getting shots, Nick Pope was saving everything. We come back to Trossard hit the post, and then a few moments later, bro, they get a corner, take a short corner, Tonali with his cross, and boom, we're out of the game. Raya is just jumping and grabbing air. They score fast. Now the second half, he gets off Mosquera, bring in Saliba. I don't understand why he never started Saliba, but maybe it's fitness issues or something, or maybe it's a tactical game. I don't know, but whatever he did, I don't know, he rectified it, because nowadays, now we actually have a very, very good squad. We have a squad that we can rotate, and we can put anyone at any time and expect them to maintain the certain levels and also improve the team. And that was a good thing to see, because even at some point while we were losing, Saka had to come off. I'm like, yo, how are we even going to score now that one of our greatest threats? But I understand he's goes from injury. We have a Champions League game. We have another boogie team over the weekend, West Ham. They have a new coach. They are playing today versus Everton. I'll actually find time to go and watch that game. So yes, it's a lot that is happening with us. But yes, it was a good win. We are now 13 points we are out of 30 out of 18 games. A second on the table. I think that is our place that we don't have to go below at all. We have to be staying between first and second. That is the only way or the only chance that we have to actually go and win the league. And now Liverpool has slipped. It was good. It was good. I hope that Gyökeres now can be able to get his footing, because that's almost 3 to 4 games he hasn't scored. He played well. I really have no complaints with his performance. His hold-up play, with linking up play with Saka and Eze, that was really good to see. Eze found him like 2 or 3 times. And the funny thing that I'm actually laughing, I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet talking about, how Gyökeres, whenever Gyökeres is set up to take a shot, it looks like, if you've played FIFA, the way that power shot tries to load up before you can be able to shoot. He looks that way, and we could see that he got some chances. He got into spaces. He was being bullied. He was being bullied by the whole back four. Even the subs came and bullied him. We actually didn't get a penalty because, man, I don't know what is happening with English refereeing. I don't know what is really, really happening. It was because that was a really clear penalty, because at what point is the keeper's touch important after doing the tackle on the offensive player? Like, it was supposed to be a red card, even to be honest, but then again, we know what happens. We know they're saying Jared Gillett is a Liverpool fan, he could do this and that. And yeah, that was it. There was also another handball claim on Gabriel. Like, at this point, I don't really understand what the rules are, because every single game has a very unique, scenario that happens. And we don't know. You don't really know, because even in the Liverpool game, Salah, but the ball brushed his hands. They say it wasn't a hard ball, brushed his hands. And fortunately or unfortunately, they scored and it was given. Well, Nketiah saved us the time. So yes, back to Arsenal. I digress. Yeah, it was a good win. Now that at least we did not have any injuries in that game. I don't know what happened. Nwaneri wasn't traveled with the squad, but he wasn't in the lineup. So that was very weird to see at some point. But I hope he can be able to start versus Olympiacos. Actually, we have a Champions League game, so more episodes for us to talk about. Yes, at least I can be able to be doing more episodes on more games and that Arsenal play. Now that we are going to be having an international break over the weekend after this weekend, yes, I'll be able to post more videos, on my YouTube channel, more videos on what is happening and, tactical issues. I can be able to bring a guest. I'm working on that. I'm working on how to be able to get a guest and talk about football and their team. So you can also look forward to that. And yes, it's Arsenal. Now we are in a title race, proper title race. Now we can be able to catch some momentum. We can go on a winning run. Now we can be able to grab points here and there, maximum points. We can be able to keep players fit. Still, I don't know whether there are players coming back from injury. Maybe Hincapi, I don't know about him, but I don't know whether he'll be able to feature in the Champions League game. But generally, there isn't really much expectations from whoever is coming from injury to come back and help the team. So yes, it was good. It was a good win versus Newcastle, back in the title race. Now we're hoping for another sleeper, because this is the first time, I think in maybe 2 or 3 years, that Liverpool have lost a game, and we've actually capitalized on it by getting maximum points. Because if you look at our previous games, Liverpool used to lose We either lose our game or we draw a game. They used to like draw a game, maybe we lose, or maybe go on a losing run, or don't go on a winning run. We draw so many games where Liverpool gain, the gap. And it's frustrating because this was more of like a do or die game for Arsenal fans. I don't know about the team or the Arteta and his guys, but for us fans, it was more of like a do or die, because once that first goal went in, I was doing this mental gymnastics of what am I be able to tell the banter people, the banter guys. How am I even to talk on social media? What am I going to talk about the podcast? Like, what kind of mood will I be in? I mean, it was generally a lot of thoughts. At some point, I didn't even believe we were going to win the game, not even let alone score. Because even it reached around the 80th minute, I was sitting right to the next person like, yo, it's just done. I see no way. I see no way we're going to win this game. Let me just accept. Let me relax. Let me, keep an open mind. Let me see how I'm going to go over the week, because this would have actually affected the players. And the players who have actually scored, who have come under a lot of criticism of late. It's really good to see that they are turning up whenever they need to turn up. I'm expecting improvements from Trossard, because Trossard does well overall when coming off the bench. Martinelli came in. I did not see so much of him. I was hoping to see Noagar at some point, but depending on how the game state was, I don't think we had a chance to bring him on. Dorman, of course, he couldn't come in because of how the game was coming on. There's a lot that was happening in between, but regardless of that, we got the win. We got the 3 points. Next, we face West Ham. Liverpool face Chelsea, who are having a terrible season. The so-called world champions. We don't know whether they'll be able, I don't even know whether they have defenders to play for their team. But yeah, that is something that we're waiting to see. But if they are going to have a chance to win the game, I think it is actually we play on the same day. So we play first versus West Ham, and then they play next on the late kickoff. So we have to win our game to put pressure on Liverpool. And Chelsea, if they actually lose against Liverpool, they are going to be in deep trouble. They're going to be low in the league. You're going to have 8 points after 7 games in the league. No, that is around, 7 games in the league, and they have 8 points. That is really bad, with depending on the money, how much the money you've spent, the injuries they're having, and the kind of squad they have built. A 2 billion squad. That's something we need to look for. So yes, just to mention other leagues. I mean, La Liga. We saw Barcelona win 2-1 against Sociedad. We have Madrid losing against Atletico Madrid 5-2. That was unprecedented to see. So yeah, those are just notable mentions. And then come to Serie A. I watched a game, AC Milan versus Napoli, and AC Milan won 2-1, goals from Pulisic, and I can't remember the other guy. And the one who scored for Napoli was KDB. I'm so glad KDB is not in the league, because that guy used to terrorize us most of the time. Inter won 2-0, Juventus 2-1-1. There's nothing much happening in that league. I'm not really following up so much. I will do as much time, but focusing more on Arsenal and the EPL in general. So yes, also just to mention, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'll make these episodes longer, but I'll be doing 15 minutes most of the time. Maybe less than, or at most 15 minutes, so that I can be able to see how I can be able to get to edit this stuff, be able to post more, be able to talk non-stop. If I have a guest, it will be even longer. So yes, thank you for subscribing. Remember to, like this post. Remember to share it. And yes, we're going to meet in the Champions League game. I'll be making short videos, the YouTube shorts. You can also find that on other footballing matters. So yes, let us enjoy the win, and see you next time.